All right. So I guess first off, thank you so much for sitting down with us and starting your morning with us. Why was it important to introduce the ReportScams.gov Act?
You want to start? Look, we are both hearing, all our colleagues are hearing from constituents all around the country about the impact that scams are having. People are losing tens of thousands of dollars, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars. And scams have gone, they've become really driven by transnational criminal organizations and having a huge impact. And we don't have a coordinated, focused federal response at this point. People often say to me they don't bother to report the scam because they don't know whether it's state, whether it's local. You go on a federal website and there are like 7 different portals you can report a scam on. So we thought it was really important to focus on a cross-government strategy for combating these transnational criminal organizations and raising public awareness, but also having a single portal so that if you get scammed, you can report it in one place, and then there will be a coordinated federal response.
So over $5 billion a year for people over 60. And what do you got? You've got romance scams, investment scams, grandparent scams. Yeah. And I don't know about you, but like I'm getting texts every day, somebody trying to do something to me.
Right. Yeah.
So our seniors are getting texts every day. They're getting video calls, phone calls. And and you don't know where to go. Right. And so as Senator Hassan said, I mean, this is something that it's happening all across, clearly our 2 states.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it's happening all across the country. So this is a single portal, so it gives our federal government now the opportunity to do a better job at responding.
Yeah, and the other thing I would just say is this has also been accelerated by AI because AI makes these scams that much more believable, and so that's one of the things that you're just seeing really sophisticated efforts.
Well, I was going to ask you, how does this legislation tackle AI?
Yeah, I will say that federal law enforcement, state and local law enforcement are literally working around the clock to try to combat this. And part of the answer about dealing with AI is really partnering with the private sector. A lot of private companies who have platforms, their platforms are being exploited and AI is a part of that. But the first step here is to make sure that one, there's a single reporting portal, ReportScams.gov, so that people can know that they can know where to go. They also will get a single identification number for their case, and they'll be told which federal agency is handling their case. As we have that single centralized reporting place, then we know that across government, federal agencies can begin to work with state and locals. And then the other piece of this that I'm working on in the Joint Economic Committee is really partnering with the private sector to find out what they're doing to protect their platforms and how we can partner with them.
But this is really just step one. Get the federal government all the information, make sure that the consumer knows where to go. But then on top of that, all of our federal and state agencies have to work together to try to solve these problems. But now there's a greater chance they'll know what to focus on first.
So it's in one spot.
Yeah, right. It's in one spot. And again, this promotes information sharing and coordination. Our bill also requires a national strategy here and really will formalize and promote coordination at the federal level. And that will help our state and local entities too.
And Senator Scott, you've said that fraud prevention isn't just a financial issue, it's a matter of national security. So what did you mean by that?
Well, first off, what we know is we have enemies, right? The Communist China is clearly, the government has decided to be our enemy. And so they're using this they've done all sorts of things to hurt our society. I mean, sending fentanyl into our country, stealing our jobs, things like that. But they're also targeting our seniors. It's a lot of money. And our seniors have worked their butts off all their life. This is their life savings, and they get scammed and they have nothing. So think about it. When you get scammed, you want to go tell everybody you got taken advantage of? So you don't. So it impacts every part of their life.
And I mean, the devastation, as Senator Scott has said, is extraordinary. And it's seniors, but it's also very sophisticated people. I think for a long time people thought, oh, if you get scammed, there's something wrong with you. These scams really play on human psychology. I always say to people, if it sounds too good to be true, if you're being pressured for time, pay this or your license will be suspended tomorrow, or you think you're hearing the voice of a loved one generated by AI, you will have an emotional response that the scammers are counting on. And so people from all walks of life, very sophisticated professionals, young people, older people are all getting scammed here. And part of the national security risk too is, of course, scammers get your data. Mm-hmm. And data is power, right? And if a foreign government has your data, that puts us all at risk, a foreign adversary.
And these days it seems like it's hard to garner bipartisan support. So how confident are you that you can really get the Senate to pass this and the House and then get it to President Trump's desk?
Well, I think we'll get it done. I mean, everybody knows this is a problem. And by the way, there is a lot of people work together here in the Senate. Yeah. So Senator Hassan is somebody that works across the aisle, tries to get things done, and she's great to partner with because she can get her stuff done.
Well, I appreciate that. We are all hearing the same things from our constituents. Globally, these transnational criminal scam organizations are, by some reports, costing the global economy more than the illicit drug trade does. I mean, just think about it's over $1 trillion in the last year or so. So we hear about this from our constituents, and scammers don't care whether you're a Democrat or a Republican or an independent or how you voted in the last election. They just want your money and your data.
Have either of you spoken with President Trump about this legislation?
I've talked to him. I've talked to him about it, and so he's very interested in it. I don't know anybody that's elected that doesn't hear the problem. So everybody understands there's a problem. Now we just got to figure out how to solve it. And then this is just one part. Yeah. I mean, it takes the responsibility of FBI and DOJ and Treasury. Everybody's got to work on this, but we're going to give them better data this way.
Yeah. How is this going to be different than the FTC's website?
Part of the answer is the FTC is one of multiple websites at the federal level. And one of the things we hear from constituents, victims of scams, is I didn't know who to report it to. Some people go to their local police department. Some people might go to their state attorney general's office. Some communities have large police departments, and they might be deploying a particular unit to really deal with scams. In my state, small state, 234 cities and towns, often the police departments are part-time. They don't have the resources to do this full-time. But this single website means that people will know there is one place to go. And the other thing is they will get an individual case number and they will be told which agency is investigating, so then they can follow up. And I think that's really important because sometimes an initial report doesn't give law enforcement all the information that they need. And this is a way that there can be interaction between the victim and law enforcement.
And it's got to take federal resources. I mean, this is international scams. And so it's going to take federal resources and federal focus.
So how do we track these people if these scammers aren't even in the United States?
Well, we're going to give our law enforcement, our federal law enforcement, and many of our state law enforcement very good, but they've got to have more centralized information. And this is just the first step. Yeah. Give them the information, but then we both have expectations that not only what our states are going to do, but also what Treasury is going to do, and everybody else that has the opportunity to go after these scammers and has the resources to do it.
And there's international efforts here. Some of the scam compounds in Southeast Asia have been disrupted because of communication and coordinated work with international law enforcement. And that's something the federal government is prepared and able to do.
Why was now the right time to draft this bill?
Reality is, you like to have solved it before it ever happened. Yeah. So, but we came together to get this done. And again, this should accelerate the ability to go after these people, help the people that have been taken advantage of. But then there's going to be a lot more to do.
Yeah.
Have you received calls from people in your state, or has there been a story from someone that has really resonated with you, someone who's fallen victim to a scam that you're kind of thinking about in the back of your mind as you're trying to tell your constituents about this legislation?
I've done more than one roundtable on this, inviting victims to come forward. And as we talked about, some people really are shy about it because they feel that they made a mistake or messed up in some way, that they shouldn't have been so gullible. But I am reminded of a very sophisticated man who had a management background. He got convinced by a scammer that he was helping uncover fraud in his own bank. So they kept telling him not to talk to anybody at the bank because they were going after somebody who was embezzling or committing fraud in some way in the bank. And it wasn't until his wife saw him putting cash in a bag, and he said he was going to go meet somebody at night because he was helping with this investigation, that she said, wait a minute, what are you doing? You're meeting somebody at night with cash, right? And then it clicked for him. But he lost, I believe, over $100,000 to this scam because they kept saying, if you'll help us now, we'll use this money as a sting operation. They had him very convinced. Other people, a young woman who had just inherited some money from, I think, her aunt, they kept phoning her and telling her to go from one bank to the next to withdraw just this much money, then this much money. And it was finally a bank teller who said, who are you on the phone with? And he disrupted that scam. So the training that financial institutions are doing with their employees is a really important part of combating this. But these people are very sophisticated and they're patient, these scammers.
And it's not just the elderly falling victim to this. It could be people who are highly educated.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So we did, I'm the chairman of the Senate Special Committee on Aging, and Senator Gillibrand is the ranking member, and we've had hearings on it. And we've actually put out a report about all the different types of scams to try to help people. So it's impacting all of our states. I've got story after story in my state. I mean, I've got a significant senior population, so they've been taken advantage of a lot.
So to wrap up here, if someone believes they're becoming a victim of a scam or they have been a victim of a scam, what could they do right now before this potentially passes?
Go to state and local law enforcement and go to the FTC website.
Yeah, it would be the best right now.
Yeah.
Any tips for people to avoid falling victim to a scam?
Well, we put if we can get you a report if people want it. The Aging Committee puts out a report, and so we put out a report, and we go through all the types of scams: the investment scams, the romance scams, the grandparent scam, to just give people information. And the best thing is slow down. I mean, I think what you said. I mean, and just slow down and think about it and talk to somebody else. Don't do it by yourself, because the odds are somebody else will bring you to your senses.
Yeah, but here are the warning signs. You are contacted with an offer from an organization or from somebody that sounds like an organization you know or have interacted with, maybe a charity that you're a regular donor to. You are pressured to act quickly because there's some sort of emergency. And also, if they ask you for money in crypto form, that's also a sign, because of course crypto isn't traceable or is very difficult for law enforcement to trace and recover, right? So if you've got those, if those elements are present, pressure, they're pulling at your emotions, act fast or else, and it sounds kind of like an organization you might know, that's a real sign that this is a scam. So yeah, slow down, call your local law enforcement, just try to make sure, call a family member, but just slow it down.
Talk to somebody.
Yeah.
Talk to somebody else before you do it.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to add about this legislation that you'd want people to know that I didn't ask you?
We're going to get it passed, but it's just the first step. You have to expect all the administrative branches at the federal level and at our state levels to do their job too.
Yeah, yeah.
This is just going to help them.
Yeah, and look, people should report scams. I know people feel embarrassed about it. I know they think something can't be done, but the more information we have, the better off we are, especially too if a scam has come through a private company's platform that you use a lot and you realize that it's being exploited. It's really important because industry needs to know that their platforms, the private sector needs to know that their platforms are being manipulated this way, and we need to partner with them.
Absolutely.